On Saturday, the 22nd of March, 2025, Alain and I got married in a beautiful old church in Hermanus, surrounded by 60 of our closest friends and family. It had been a lot of extra work and pressure to plan this wedding, as we did all the flower arrangement ourselves and just tried our utmost to DIY as much as possible and keep the cost down, while still wanting the day to be special. The reception at Newton Johnson in the Hillman Art Valley was unforgettable, truly one of the best days of our lives. And we wouldn't have changed much. There were only a few small hiccups, but nothing we can't laugh about now. When I met Alain at 30, I thought I'd never find my person. 5 years later, there we were, married and somehow still sane amidst the chaos of a house build. Alain is the calm to my storm, a perfect balance and offset against my German efficiency and his gentle and optimistic nature. After the wedding, we took a short road trip up the west coast to Agrabis National Park and into the Kalahari National Park. It was magical, but far too short, and of course our minds stayed on the build. While we were away, the brick issue escalated. A new delivery arrived, much lighter in colour. We were panicked, unable to assess the situation properly from afar. In the end, we opted for a mixed batch from Cora Brick, called a Cape Blend, and hoping that the variation would help us find enough matching bricks just to finish those feature walls. It was close, but we pulled it off. The exposed brickwork across both floors looked cohesive in the end. The brickwork was mostly done. Our slabs had ample time to set. Our glazing was on order and ready to go once the roof was complete. The small slab connecting our two roofs was now also cured and the scaffolding removed. The house was really starting to feel like home, and we were just blown away by the views, the privacy and the vibe. Plumbing and electrics were well underway, and our most important installation, the braai, was built. Things were just starting to come together, although we knew we still had a long and expensive way to go before moving in. Our meticulous planning was paying off. We knew exactly where every plug, switch and light would go, and I was already mentally decorating. The build really had taken longer than planned, but the flip side of this is that everything had time to settle and cure, so the house would be solid and less prone to cracking. When the roof trusses arrived on the 14th of May, it really felt like a whole new level of progress. We were so lucky yet again, as Alain's brother Quinton is in the roofing industry and helped us so much in getting our Bali-style roof designed and manufactured. Getting the roof up now was essential, as we would soon be struck by our winter fronts, bringing a lot of rain and strong winds. It's not called the Cape of Storms for nothing. As is German tradition, the moment the last truss is in place, it's time to celebrate Richtfest. A wreath is hoisted high onto the structure and left there for a few days to bless the house. Others might know this as a roof wetting party, although that's usually done a bit later once the tiles are on. We mark the occasion by making the very first fire in our braai, braaiing our first boerewors and spending a perfect May afternoon with family and friends. Our nieces were instantly drawn to the river, playing for hours in the mud and water, while everyone shared in the excitement of the day we're finally going to move in. The company that erected the roof trusses got off to a great start. Alain and I sourced our own fascias and spent a few evenings sealing them with a penetrative sealant. The roof tiles arrived soon after, and for a moment it felt like we were on a winning streak, until it all started to fall apart. One thing I really struggle with in South Africa, compared to places like Germany, the UK or Australia, is the lack of formal training. In those countries, carpenters and other skilled tradespeople typically have proper apprenticeships under their belts. They're good at what they do. In South Africa, unfortunately, it's often a case of fake it till you make it. And to that, a reliance on cheap, unskilled labor, and it's a recipe for disaster. The same roof company that started off strong soon began butchering our roof. They cut the soffits too short, flushing 10 grand down the drain, damaging the fascias, didn't countersink any screws, and made no attempt to use jigs or even cut straight lines. When Alain's brother, Quinton, and our engineer reviewed the roof and made a snag list, it became clear that the issues weren't just aesthetic, they were also structural. so the roof had to be partially dismantled and redone. After some back and forth with the roofing contractor, it became pretty clear that it wasn't worth his time to come back and fix his mistakes. In the end, he did a runner, pocketing some money for himself and leaving his labourers high and dry. It was an awful situation that drained time, money and energy from everyone involved. We managed to resolve the structural issues but decided to leave the aesthetic problems for later. We just needed momentum again, so we moved forward with the plastering. Right on cue, July arrived with heavy rains and our river started flowing again. We began insulating the ceiling and found only one leak, but of course it had to be in the double volume area, which meant bringing in scaffolding again. Around this time, the matte stone grey aluminium doors and windows started going in. Alain built our beautiful bamboo front door. Painting kicked off and we were suddenly faced with the overwhelming task of choosing all our paint colours. Then in August, the interior floors were cast. The team meant well, but the method wasn't quite right. Instead of floating the white cement into the topping, they poured it over the top. To this day, we're still a bit concerned about the long-term integrity of that choice. By September, we were finally able to clean up properly, and on the 20th, we finally moved in. At this stage, we were camping out. No kitchen, no finished bathroom, no proper bedroom, just taking on one job at a time, hoping to be done by Christmas. The animals were happy, but for us it was still difficult to truly feel settled. There was still this odd disconnect between the project and the house actually feeling like home. It had been a rough year, joyful but incredibly challenging. Planning a wedding, building a house, and dealing with quite a serious medical diagnosis right in the middle of it all left us emotionally exhausted and financially stretched thin. Right now, all we want is a calm and cozy Christmas, for everyone to be happy and most importantly for 2026 to bring health. My next video will hopefully be the final house reveal. But as things stand, we still have no kitchen, no driveway, no closet, no balustrade and honestly, no clear end in sight.